Death is no more traumatic than taking off an old coat. The very heart of the Gita's message is to see the Lord in every creature and act accordingly. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made of our thoughts. One who is free from selfish attachments, who has mastered himself and his passions, attains the supreme perfection of freedom from action. Reshape yourself through the power of your will. Never let yourself be degraded by self-will. The will is the only friend of the self, and the will is the only enemy of the self. Tat Tvayamasi, thou art that. Atman is Brahman. The self in each person is not different from the Godhead. When you keep thinking about sense objects, attachment comes. Attachment breeds desire, the lust of possession that burns to anger. They live in wisdom who see themselves in all, and all in them, who have renounced every selfish desire, and sense craving tormenting the heart. Those who are motivated only by desire, for the fruits of action are miserable, for they are constantly anxious about the results of what they do. Just as the dweller in this body passes through childhood, youth, and old age, so at death, he merely passes into another kind of body. The wise are not deceived by that. Your authority extends only to the performance of action. Obtaining or not obtaining the fruit is never within your control. Actions do not cling to me, because I am not attached to their results. Those who understand this and practice it live in freedom. Seek refuge in the attitude of detachment, and you will amass the wealth of spiritual awareness. Whoever remembers him at the time of death will enter Madbhavam, my being. His judgment will be better, and his vision clear if he is not emotionally entangled in the outcome of what he does. This does not mean, however, that the phenomenal world is an illusion or unreal. The illusion is the sense of separateness. Knowledge is better than practice. Meditation is better than knowledge. And best of all is surrender, which soon brings peace. For when the mind becomes bound to a passion of the wandering senses, this passion carries away man's wisdom, even as the wind drives a vessel on the waves. The image of God is found essentially and personally in all mankind. Each possesses it whole, entire and undivided, and altogether not more than one alone. In this way we are all one, intimately united in our eternal image, which is the image of God and the source in us of all our life. Be fearless and pure. Never waver in your determination or your dedication to the spiritual life. Give freely. Be self-controlled, sincere, truthful, loving, and full of the desire to serve. Realize the truth of the Scriptures. Learn to be detached and to take joy in renunciation. In sleep, a person passes in and out of two stages, dreaming and dreamless sleep. In the first, consciousness is withdrawn from the body and senses, but still engaged in the mind. In dreamless sleep, however, consciousness is withdrawn from the mind as well. The wise see that there is action in the midst of inaction and inaction in the midst of action. Their consciousness is unified, and every act is done with complete awareness. Everything we do produces karma in the mind. In fact, it is in the mind rather than the world that karma's seeds are planted. Thus, every act or thought has consequences, which themselves will have consequences. Life is the most intricate web of interconnections. When a person responds to the joys and sorrows of others as if they were his own, he has attained the highest state of spiritual union. The law of karma states simply that every event is both a cause and an effect. Every act has consequences of a similar kind, which in turn have further consequences, and so on. And every act, every karma, is also the consequence of some previous karma. The wise man lets go of all results, whether good or bad, and is focused on the action alone. Just as a seed can grow into only one kind of tree, thoughts can produce effects only of the same nature. Kindness to others, to take just one example, favors a nervous system that is kind to itself. You have a right to your actions, but never to your actions' fruits. Act for the action's sake. But when you move amidst the world of sense, free from attachment and aversion alike, there comes the peace in which all sorrows end, and you live in the wisdom of the self. The battlefield is a perfect backdrop, but the Gita's subject is the war within, the struggle for self-mastery that every human being must wage if he or she is to emerge from life victorious. Just as a reservoir is of little use when the whole countryside is flooded, scriptures are of little use to the illumined man or woman who sees the Lord everywhere. If our eyes were sensitive to a much finer spectrum, we might see the world as a continuous field of matter and energy. We never really encounter the world. All we experience is our own nervous system. Tres son las causas que destruyen un alma, el deseo, la celera y la codicia. Deben evitarse por todos los medios. I have described the discovery of Atman and Brahman God immanent and God transcendent as separate, but there is no real distinction. In the climax of meditation, the sages discovered unity, the same indivisible reality without and within. It was Advaita, not two. Mind, energy, and matter are a continuum, and the universe is not described as it might be in itself, but as it presents itself to the human mind. As unnecessary as a well is to a village on the banks of a river, So unnecessary are all scriptures to someone who has seen the truth. Being is not found in that which does not exist. Non-being is not found in that which exists. The limit of both being and non-being is perceived by those who see the truth.